you for joining us here today. The minister's on his way, so we'll just start in 10 minutes. Thank you for your patience and really thank you for your support. Thank you so much, everybody.
Applause for our Honorable Union Minister, Shri Kanjarpur Ram Mohan Naidu for his presence. Welcome, sir. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you, sir, for sparing your time. And before officially starting the event, may I request everyone to kindly rise for the national anthem, please.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Thank you, sir. May I request to kindly I request all the delegates on the dais to kindly join us for the lighting of the lamp. And this traditional ceremony basically symbolizes the dispelling of darkness and ushering in knowledge and enlightenment. Please, sir, join us. Thank you very much, sir. With this, I like to request Mr. Sanjeev Agarwal, President Phdcci, and Mr. Hemant Jain, Senior Vice President Phdcci, to kindly felicitate our Honorable Union Minister with a PhD plant and a memento, please. Thank you, sir. I would also request you to kindly felicitate Mr. Piyush Srivastava, Senior Economic Advisor, Ministry of Civil Aviation, with a memento and a plant, please. Thank you, sir. I'll also request you to kindly felicitate Dr. Surendra Ahirwar, Joint Secretary, Logistics and Trade, Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you indeed. And now, without any further ado, I'll invite Mr. Sanjeev Edward, Chair Phdcci Civil Aviation Committee, to kindly share his perspective and give the industry perspective to the august audience, please. Over to you, Mr. Sanjeev Edward.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for your very patient wait. It's been a great morning. A very warm welcome to all of you, and it's my pleasure to welcome our Honorable Minister and other dignitaries, distinguished guests and expert panelists, and my friends from the industry to our flagship program. This is the 10th edition of the Phdcci Global Aviation and Air Cargo Summit, themed Skies of Change, shaping a new futuristic aviation ecosystem this year. And we're extremely honored to extend a warm welcome to Sri Ram Mohan Naidu Garu, our Honorable Union Minister of Civil Aviation, Government of India. And we look forward to very transformative developments in the aviation sector under your vision and your leadership, sir. We're also very honored to have Dr. Surendra Ahirwar, Joint Secretary, Logistics and Trade, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India. We're grateful to him for graciously accepting our invitation and keenly look forward to hearing from his vast experience about the way forward for sustainable growth of the air cargo and logistics sector. We also heartily welcome Sri Piyush Srivastava, our Senior Economic Advisor, Ministry of Civil Aviation, whose expertise and guidance are shaping the aviation ecosystems for sustainable growth to meet the demands of the future. His contributions to the air cargo, MRO, and the drone industry, in addition to many others, have been very instrumental in these sectors growing at the way they are. It is also a pleasure to welcome our distinguished experts and my friends from the industry, our eminent speakers today who have been the backbone of keeping this vital industry going. And I'm sure your thoughts and views will add further to the value to the deliberations. We also warmly welcome the industry stalwarts, representatives from the airlines, the air cargo industry, allied stakeholders, members of diplomatic community, and former PhD presidents, media friends, and all the esteemed delegates who have joined us this morning. Today I stand before you not only as an industry colleague, but also more proudly as an Indian, eager to share the remarkable Indian perspective in this journey, scaling new horizons and embracing trends for a future sustainable growth in the aviation and air cargo sector. This year's theme, The Skies of Change, shaping a new futuristic aviation ecosystem, suggests a transformative vision for the aviation industry, emphasizing how current trends and technologies are reshaping the sector, while also envisioning a brighter, sustainable future for it. The summit today serves as an exceptional platform for focusing and exploring initiatives, challenges, and opportunities. What truly sets the Indian aviation tale apart is its resilience and adaptability. I just want to share a few thoughts on the current trends and future growth of the ecosystem. The Indian economy, with the push from the government, is at a very interesting stage. We are achieving 8% GDP growth each year in the next decade. That's what we're striving for. India's GDP will be about 19 trillion by 2047, 600 million jobs by 2047, and also investing about 600 billion annually to transition to a net zero world by 2050. And of course, the interesting part is that the per capita income is also slated to rise to about $12,000. That's the interesting part. On the aviation side of it, again, the market size by 2030 is slated to be about 26.1 billion. And South Asia, the region that we operate in, is one of the fastest growing commercial aviation markets, with more than 8% annual traffic growth over the next 20 years. And the South Asian carriers are slated to grow their fleet 4 times in the same period. About 2,700 planes is what will be required to address the growth, and creating job opportunities of about 37,000 pilots, 38,000 maintenance engineers. Cargo is also our theme for today, and if you look at the air cargo industry, it has demonstrated how resilient and fast-moving it can be when under pressure. We always call cargo the Cinderella of the business, the most beautiful one, but always kept in the back of the house. But cargo really got its recognition during COVID, and people have begun to realize how important and critical it is. In fact, presently, the India's airport air cargo handling capacity is about 6.5 million metric tons, but we're targeting by 2030 we should be handling about 10 million metric tons. So with this 10 million metric tons to be handled, there are initiatives which are on the way, like new cargo terminals being developed, tier 2 and tier 3 facilities, integrated multimodal dedicated facilities, expansion and modernization of terminals, strategic development of cargo transshipment hubs, a very important part. And we anticipate a demand of about 80 freighters in the next 20 years. Regarding the logistics and the freight market, the market size is about 370 billion USD, but expected to reach about 545 billion by 2030. And the industry is growing at about 9.5% CAGR, but more importantly, the air cargo is the fastest growing mode of transport, around 10.66 is the growth which is expected in this sector. We would like to actually propose a four-pronged strategy to empower logistics sector, which we'll discuss and deliberate more during the day. This is about adopting advanced technologies, fast-tracking infrastructure development, attracting investment, and also focus on sustainable logistics. There are some challenges for the sector, which we'll, of course, deliberate during the day. Still a lot of extensive use of paperwork by the regulators. Exim policies, how do we make them, smooth flow, not just India, but across countries, so you have smoother corridors which are developed. Also, the digital clearance is still a slower adoption. Single window opportunity needs to be exploited to the core. There are also complex and ad hoc compliances, and one of the areas when we talk of creating hubs in the country, our transshipment policy needs to be simplified today. There's 100% screening of transshipment on the air side. Probably that needs to be revisited. And of course, a continued focus on skill enhancement in the sector. The government of India has embarked on a very transformative journey to boost the logistics industry post-pandemic, leading to the formulation of new and futuristic policies and initiatives. And we look forward to more announcements under the current leadership also. These initiatives signify the government's commitment to propel the aviation and air cargo logistics sector forward, catalyzing economic growth, ensuring an enhanced supply chain infrastructure, and for our nation, while simultaneously ensuring ease of doing business and travel. As we set sights on the future, we must acknowledge the challenges that lie ahead. The aviation industry must address issues like airspace congestion, passenger comfort, infra development, and skilled manpower. Our commitment to technology and adopting futuristic practices needs to continue. And the Indian aviation sector is at the cusp of a digital revolution that will further enhance efficiency and safety. As we talk about shaping a new futuristic aviation ecosystem at this summit, India's aviation industry has embraced environmentally conscious practices. We have witnessed substantial investments in the indigenously produced sustainable aviation fuel, with Indian Airlines taking significant efforts to reduce carbon emissions. In this journey of progress, the Phdcci Chamber of Commerce and Industry also acknowledges and expresses gratitude to the Government of India, especially Customs, the Ministry of Civil Aviation, and the Ministry of Commerce and Industry for the invaluable cooperation in the development of this vital sector. As we pen the story of Indian aviation and air cargo's sustainable growth, the focus today has to be on promoting Make in India initiatives. The indigenization of manufacturing and maintenance capabilities will not only bolster the economy, but also elevate India to become a global aviation hub. As we move forward with determination and cooperation, Phdcci Chamber of Commerce and Industry remains committed to working in hand with the Government of India to make this vital sector a pillar of strength in our journey towards economic prosperity. Together, we shall explore trends and technologies that will shape the future, reaffirming India's position as a leader in the global aviation arena. Together, let us build a robust aviation and air cargo ecosystem that not only propels our nation's growth, but also contributes to the well-being of the global trade and economic collaboration. Once again, thank you for your attention, and I wish all of you a very productive and inspiring summit ahead. Let us seize the opportunities before us and chart a course towards a more prosperous and sustainable future. Together, we can build an ecosystem and a landscape that truly exemplifies the spirit of scaling new horizons. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Edward, for your very insightful address. Now I'd like to invite Mr. Michael Jain, Co-Chair, Phdcci CCS Aviation Committee, for his deliberations. A brief deliberation, please.
Good morning, everyone. Shri Kinjarapu Ram Mohan Naidu, Union Minister of Civil Aviation, Mr. Piyush Srivastava, Dr. Arivar, Joint Secretary Logistics, Mr. Edward, President, Vice President, and diplomats, distinguished participants, representatives from airlines, and friends from the media. I've been asked to keep this very short because we are running out of time. But the topic of today's summit is Skies of Change. And what better than our Honorable Minister who is here, who is shaping in that change. In the few months that he's been in office, he has already changed in terms of MRO the percentage to 5% for MRO. And he's also been able to pass a new aviation bill in the Parliament. And also passed new regulations for seaplane. And I feel that the push in terms of helicopter and these new age aviation products, he's spearheading this in a very, very big way. Yesterday, he was in Andhra Pradesh and he has used drones for dropping food to people who have been affected by the floods. So a big hand of applause for the minister. And we really thank you, sir, for making such a big change in our aviation industry. We have a long way to go in terms of aviation. We've done very well already in terms of aircraft orders, but there's still a lot of work we have to do for the ecosystem, and we're looking forward to your support to the industry to push the ecosystem forward. Thank you very much, everyone, and I hope we have a very good summit today.
Thank you, Mr. Michael. Now I'd like to invite Dr. Surinder Ahirwar, Joint Secretary, Logistics and Trade, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, for his insightful address, please.
Honorable Union Minister for Civil Aviation, Mr. Ram Mohan Naidu, the young and energetic leader of the aviation industry we have today in the country. And I think there's a lot of energy in store which is going to guide the entire development in the aviation sector, not only confined to the aviation sector, but going beyond that also. And as we understand, the focus today is just not remaining confined to one sector, but to be more multimodal, more integrated, and more holistic, which we talk about, the spirit of Gati Shakti, which is the buzzword. And dignitaries on the dais, dignitaries off the dais, the media friends, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for having me here once again. And I really congratulate Phdcci Chamber of Commerce for organizing such insightful conversation. And looking at the series of conversation which I have also been part of, or maybe watching or hearing from outside, it has been tremendous effort on the part of Phdcci Chamber of Commerce. It is, in a way, has become the Jnanapeeth, for anything which has to do with either economics or the logistics or the socio-economic interventions which government either can take or the industry can take. So kudos to you for this initiative. And we are definitely, we look at this topic of changing, skies of change, and a futuristic aviation ecosystem. I think it's a very apt topic for discussion, and especially when the discussion is, blessed with the presence of Honorable Minister, it definitely is scaled up in its seriousness, and definitely a greater participation in this conversation, which will, I'm very optimistic, have a very effective outcome, which would be not only adopted by the aviation sector, but also going to make a lot of change in it. So we are definitely into the exciting times. And we are seeing the transformational phase with a lot of dynamic changes being brought about, be it in the infrastructure development or adoption of the technology or technology development itself, which is happening in the country. And that is just not confined to the digital technology, but we are also going for diverse technologies which is helping or bringing about automation in any sector. And if we talk of the logistics sector, that is definitely bringing about a lot of automation, and then therefore helping us bringing about that efficiency in the logistics, which can catalyze the economic growth and economic activity in the country. We have been definitely embarking on a very ambitious target of attaining, beside being the fastest growing economy, also attaining the status of the third largest economy in the world, and attaining that level of 5 trillion by 2027, or maybe aspiring to 2047, the $35 trillion economy. I think that seems achievable with the kind of the collaboration, the partnerships, and the kind of energy which is seen in the country, be it on the government side or the economy side, academia, and of course the citizenry. I think every dynamic change which is evident, or which are evident today, is just indicating and generating that optimism for taking us to that 2047 35 trillion economy levels. In the logistics sector, I would like to apprise Honorable Minister that the two major transformational initiatives or intervention which have been undertaken by the government, one in form of the Phdcci National Master Plan, and another in form of the National Logistics Policy, which are definitely unprecedented interventions in the country. I would say one of the rare occurrences in terms of governmental intervention in the world as well. We have not seen as yet the equal of these two initiatives across the world. Talking about the Phdcci in particular, Honorable Minister, I would like to apprise you that in just last 2.5 years or so, this system or the mechanism has been fully established. And this has two basic components. One is the National Master Plan platform, which is a geospatial platform, which represents every infrastructure in the country with respect to its geospatial data in form of the polygon or the points or the linear representation of logistics infrastructure in the country. And this not only represents the infrastructure on the ground, but also underground. And it has today around 1,500 data layers, which are having the data relating to all these types of infrastructure in the country. Now, besides this, there are also intelligent planning tools which have been created on this platform, which can make a plan or generate plan options for different infrastructure for the planners, and the planners can make a choice. So this is facilitating in a very effective manner the data-based decision making related to the planning of infrastructure. And today, around 45 infrastructure ministries or the economic ministries in the country are already on board. When I'm saying ministries or departments, I'm talking about the union ministries and the departments who are already on board this platform. And in addition, all the states and union territories are also on board. And they have also their own portals for planning of infrastructure basis this geospatial data. So today we have a network of the portals in the platform, which are again, all of them are geospatial platforms having planning tools, and therefore enabling everybody to come together. Means everybody, when I say in the government who are into planning of infrastructure, so the entire government, be it the center or at the state level or the union territory level, they all have come together to collaborate for planning of infrastructure. That's what ultimately we are realizing, the integrated development and holistic development of infrastructure. This is one aspect of the Phdcci National Master Plan. Honorable Minister, there's another component of the Phdcci mechanism, that's an administrative or institutional mechanism. And today we have Again, the entire government means the cabinet secretary chairs a group called Empowered Group of Secretaries, which has 23 principal secretaries or secretaries of different departments as part of it. And that's an apex level institution. And below that, there is another very active and a kind of a cutting edge institutional arrangement, which is called Network Planning Group. This Network Planning Group actually evaluates every infrastructure project proposal coming from different ministries. For example, Civil Aviation Ministry, we were considering two of the proposals, one for Bagdogra Airport expansion and another for Beheta Airport. That's again a brownfield airport of Ministry of Defense, and that's being upgraded to a commercial airport as well. So these projects have come to Network Planning Group, and the project, which was primarily planned by the Civil Aviation Ministry, is being scrutinized by 7 or 8 other ministries, including rail, road, air, shipping, telecom, power, and we also have Niti Aayog and the Ministry of Environment on board. So all these ministries, from their own perspective, are evaluating every project and then trying to make this project proposal and the infrastructure which has been planned to be more integrated, more connected to every other modes of transport. So it becomes, Ministry of Civil Aviation project becomes more connected project. It will have its road connectivity. It would be connecting to other modes of transport as well. So this integrated approach, which we call as multimodal infrastructure development approach in an integrated manner, is being realized through the Network Planning Group. Below the Network Planning Group, again, there is a technical support unit as an institution which is supporting or giving a sectorial support to the Network Planning Group and the Empowered Group of Secretaries. So this, in every state, right, and the Union Territory, similar institution arrangement has been created, and now it has been active for almost last 2 years and more than that. So everybody is now engaged in it, and then the states have come forward in a big way in also planning their infrastructure on this platform, and they are being handheld by Ministry of Commerce and Industry, DPIIT, so for any technical support they want. So this is on the PM Gati Shakti side, and we have hitherto evaluated, I just took the examples, similar projects of the estimates more than 500 crores to the extent of around 180 projects, and of value about 15 lakh crores. So a lot of work is going on, and I think it will take maybe a year or two to see the fruition of this entire mechanism. And you would see the new infrastructure which would be coming up. It would be more connected, more multimodal, and therefore would be ensuring a very seamless transportation of just not goods but also the people. Another major initiative is National Logistics Policy, sir, and this is taking care of other components of the logistics sector besides the hard infrastructure. That's digitalization, human resource, process reforms, or evaluation of the process to make them more efficient and maybe convenient, ensuring that ease in operation or ease in doing business. So that's, and then focus of National Logistics Policy has been digitalization in a big way. And under that initiative, we have also developed a platform called ULIP, the Unified Logistics Interface Platform, which is complementing and integrating so many other systems related to logistics sector. So today, there are 37 digital systems of different ministries and departments, and also major public sectors and the private sector facilities also. They are connected to ULIP, and ULIP has become today the digital public infrastructure for the logistics sector. And very soon it would be graduating to the logistics e-marketplace, wherein all the systems into the logistics ecosystem shall be interconnected or integrated to it, and it would be able to facilitate the transactions of related to the procurement of the services or logistics services. It would also facilitate the regulatory clearances which can be obtained through the platform in a most digital and the convenient ways. So these are the two initiatives, sir. And the logistics division has been, which is housed in Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Department of Industries and Internal Trade, has been doing this integrational role across the sectors and with the states or with the ministries, and also having an interface with the industry, be it on the trade side, with the supplies, the consumption side of the logistics, and also with the logistics ecosystem stakeholders, and coming up with lots of well-researched interventions which are being adopted by the government in many ways through maybe the policy interventions, schemes, programs, and different projects. So that's being done as well. And there is a mechanism of service improvement group wherein the industry stakeholders, including the Phdcci Chamber of Commerce and other associations who have either the logistics stakeholders as their members, or they are having such members who are on the consumption side of the logistics. So all these associations are able to give their suggestions on various aspects of the business, logistics, especially focused at logistics, which can make every service more efficient, and there's a greater ease which can be ensured. And these problems which were earlier coming as grievances and to the government, for which the government was just generally giving a very ritualistic conventional replies that this is in the private sector, this is unto the market forces, whatever. Today we are having such not only grievances, but the problems, the issues which are identified, and the solutions which are suggested by the stakeholders themselves are examined by all the concerned ministries in a most collaborative manner. So the issues are being raised on the dashboard or the platform, which is called e-logs under SIG. And these issues are, along with the suggestion, are being circulated among all the stakeholder ministries, and they then collaborate and give their views. And in a meeting or maybe two meetings, we are able to just resolve the issues. So that's what been going on, sir. And we are having a continuous interaction with the Ministry of Civil Aviation as well, and taking up the issues. I would just like to flag 2-3 issues which you are working on, sir, and your attention would be required. One is, of course, there has been a port process mapping exercise which has been conducted by DPIIT with the help of ADB, and we have had a lot of discussion and consultation with the Ministry of Civil Aviation also. So there's an issue of striking a kind of balance, or maybe reconciling between the security concerns and the business efficiency in the services, especially related to the transshipment. And domestic to domestic, or international to international transshipments, they are at present not as efficient as they can be and they should be. And for that, I think if it requires technological intervention, that can be done without compromising the security. If we can do something to it, I think that will increase a lot of convenience and ease of doing business in the country. Other things I'll just mention, sir. There has been a great need felt regarding having the hub facilities or the gateway facilities in the country. There are natural hubs, of course, for cargo convergence in the country, like Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai, or the Bangalore as well. But there are probably no or inadequate infrastructure facilities, which we call as gateway facilities or the hub facilities. I think your attention would definitely help in the matter. And this is, again, an appeal to the industry also. I mean, what we are looking as problems which we are facing, and for which probably you think that the solution lies on the government side, I strongly feel the solution lies in the technology. Solution of that problem lies in infrastructure development. And I'm very optimistic that with this partnership between the government and the industry, and of course academia and the citizenry, we would be able to find solution and ensure the growth in the economy, in the logistics sector, with a human face, with their smiles intact. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hirwar. In fact, the PM Gati Shakti master plan is definitely a master stroke, and it will basically surmount most of the challenges of the logistics sector. Thank you very much. Now I would like to invite Mr. Piyush Srivastava ji, Senior Economic Advisor, Ministry of Civil Aviation, for his address, please.
Honorable Minister for Civil Aviation, Mr. Kinjarapu Ram Mohan Naidu Garu, my friend Dr. Ahirwal, Sanjeev Agarwal Sahab, Mr. Michael Jain, Sanjeev Edwards ji, Dr. Ranjit Mehta, Dr. Jatinder Singh, His Excellency, the Ambassador of Bhutan, the other diplomats here, ladies and gentlemen. Today, this is the 10th Global Aviation and Cargo Summit of Phdcci Chamber, which in other words means that the Chamber's event has entered into double digits. And it is actually a good omen that a dynamic, energetic, and visionary minister in Mr. Ram Mohan Naidu is heading the Ministry of Civil Aviation at this crucial juncture. While I was sitting in the audience and Mr. Edwards was making his presentation on the background of the industry, when he came back, I told him that you have left nothing for us to say. And my goose was finally cooked after Michael and Surinder were done with. So what I will do is that I know minister's time is short, so what I will do is that I'll pick up some of the threads and keep it really, really short. You know, as we look at the future, we have to have a look at what we are doing now. As of now, we are actually in a very good place, very good spot if you look at what we are doing. In the last 10 years, we have increased the number of airports from 74 to 157 if we count the seaports and the hitherto unutilized airports that have now been commissioned. The aircraft fleet has expanded from 470 odd to now 765, and another 1,200 is on order. The daily passengers that were just 120 million 10 years back now is 264 million passengers. And the cargo that is being ferried in the aircraft has risen from around 2.4 million tons to 3.2 million tons now, and we are only growing. So all this has brought us to be the third largest domestic aviation market in the world. But we are aware that still miles to go, or should I say the nautical miles to go, before we can actually put up our feet and relax. We are acutely aware that there is a lot of distance that needs to be covered. If we look at the air penetration, it is very low in the country. We have tried to overcome that through our Udan scheme. We are connecting all the airports as far as possible, all the airstrips that were non-functional till now as far as possible. We have increased the airport capacity. We are investing almost 93,000 crore rupees, both from the public sector and the private sector, into creating the airport capacity. In the last 10 years itself, the cargo capacity has been increased. I'm not just talking about the creation of a dedicated agency in I-Glass, but also in terms of creating capacities. We have 35 domestic terminals, 13 international terminals, and of course we have various cold storage facilities that has been added in just 10 years. You know, I'm not talking about what existed before that, but this is what has happened in just a short period of 10 years. And it is truly an exciting time to be in the country at this time when India is actually steering the global growth trends. Otherwise, you see headwinds everywhere, except India. India is the only bright spot if you look at the global economy. And the aviation sector in India is particularly on an upswing. But we cannot ignore the challenges that are there. The challenges, number one, that I can think of is the duality that exists in the aviation sector. You know, the demand and growth is now happening in the global south. India is leading the growth and demand. But the manufacturing happens in the West, the Europe and America. So I think the time is now ripe when we should try and move the manufacturing from the West to the global South. And what better location geographically and otherwise than our beloved country, India. We should actually take this opportunity, take the bull by its horn if it is indeed a bull. Otherwise, of course, we've rolled out the red carpet for them, for the investment to come in. There's a lot of scope that is there latent, and also the scope that can be created in the country. As far as we are concerned, we have embarked into a very ambitious project. We've been working on it. We know it's a long-haul process. We want to manufacture an indigenous aircraft in the country. Among the BRICS countries, India is the only major economy which does not have an indigenous aircraft so far. We have the capability. I would stick out my neck and say that we have the capability. But it is still not easy. We can do so many things in the country. Either we can do a clean sheet design and try and build up the entire aircraft on our own, or what we could do is that we could build up the ecosystem and wait for the entire process to come into the country. And the way the aircraft manufacturing globally is set up, no country can manufacture the entire aircraft on its own. There's inevitable that you'll have some parts coming from abroad. So even when we create our own aircraft, there'll be some parts that will come from abroad. Maybe the engine will come from abroad. Creating an engine is an exercise fraught with failures. I'm told by my friends in aeronautic engineering and mechanical engineering that only 2% of the engines that are created actually succeed. 98% fail. It requires a very, very deep pocket, and I don't think we would want to do that. But it is not that we'll not flinch from making an attempt. When the time comes, we'll manufacture our own engine. We made an attempt in the defense side in the Kaveri engine. It didn't work out that well, but certainly we'll do that. But when we talk about building the ecosystem, the MRO is a very important component. 85% of the MRO cost goes abroad because we do not have the capability in the country. We are self-sufficient in line and base maintenance, but which doesn't account to much. It is just scraping the surface. We need to get into the hot section of the aircraft engine, and we need to maintain and even manufacture it in the country. It's a matter of time. We are patient. We do understand that creating an aircraft on its own would be a 30-year exercise. So we'll try and build a hybrid where we'll build some, we'll import some, we'll finally manufacture it here. And we'll shorten this span from 30 years to maybe 15 years, or maybe if you guys pitch in 10 years, who knows? And everything is possible in these days of disruptive technology. But on the policy front, this is what we can do. We have made a lot of headway at the policy front, especially in the MRO. The short period in which the Honorable Minister has been at the helm, we've had landmark achievements on the policy front, on the MROs. We all know that earlier the limit for exporting back what we imported for maintenance was just 6 months. That has been raised to 1 year now. And moreover, the warranty period under which the repair could be undertaken has been raised from 3 years to 5 years. So this increases the window in which the aircraft maintenance job can be carried out within the shores of India, getting in business from abroad. But the biggest game changer has happened on the GST front. Of course, 3 years back, the GST rates were brought down to 5%. Michael also referred to that, and he also referred to the other fact that now it has been brought down to 5%. Actually, it is the IGST rate which has been harmonized. So what it means that the IGST on all the parts that are required for aircraft maintenance, irrespective of the chapter in which it is listed, has been brought down to 5%. So, thank you for clapping for the Honorable Minister. It is after he joined here that this revolution happened. He does, yeah. So this 5% rate of GST, I am told the back of the envelope calculation is that the airline industry, the airlines in particular, will save upwards of rupees 1,200 crore rupees per annum. And this would rise up to 2,000 crore rupees a year in the next few years, which is a huge saving considering that the aviation industry runs on a very shallow margin, which is a huge saving and should be a huge incentive for the MRO business to come into the country in a big way. Of course, we are in talk with various OEM manufacturers and everybody for setting up shop in the country. The other aspect that has brought in a revolution in the aviation ecosystem per se, it might not be flying as we know it, but the future of the aviation is going to be the drones and the advanced air mobility. That is also an area in which we have a lot of intellectual investment that has been put in, and the ministry is proactively promoting that. You all know that we had brought in a very liberalized guideline a couple of years back. But it was still felt that the usage of the drones in the rural areas was restricted because of the requirement of a passport to get the remote pilot license. The first thing we did is that we removed the requirement of a remote pilot license. We said that we just need a certificate for remote pilots. We do not need a license. So that was one step. But the other step is that we removed the requirement of passports altogether. There's just a need for an identity and an address proof which can be obtained from any government ID. So that has now been put in force. The registration of a drone also required a passport. We have done away with that. Again, a government ID is good enough. The transfer of registration can also be done without the requirement of a passport. So this, together with the Drone Didi scheme that the Honorable Prime Minister has himself launched, should actually bring in the usage of drone for revolutionizing the rural economy, which is in many ways the backbone of the Indian economy. Still, even if its contribution is 16%, but it employs a large number of people. And if the employment is actually productive and generative, it is good for the country, good for the economy, good for all of us. So I think the Ministry of Civil Aviation has laid out the red carpet. This is all that we can do. We have the garlands in our hand and inviting the investment to come into the country. This is, we are more than happy to do. But we do realize that whatever we are doing is just basically creating the foundation for the future, which is the subject of this seminar. It is the ecosystem that has to be created by the private sector. The edifice, the structure, and the superstructure will all come from the private sector. That is, you people who have to actually get invested into the whole process now, so that the future is securer. Our future is in any case very secure in your hands. But the future would be much better if we actually look at the future requirements. You could maybe parse the requirement in two ways. One is the tactical requirement, where you look at the immediate needs. The problem that has arisen because of the Red Sea is something that you need to address, and maybe it could be an incentive for some people to make profits. But look at the larger picture and forego some of the profit if required, may I say so. The supernormal profits can be foregone in the interest of the country and the interest of the sector. And look at the general growth and the requirement of the country, keep that in perspective and move forward together. The other tactical thing that you could do is, like somebody mentioned, the flood situation in Andhra Pradesh. Now, the aviation sector could probably do something there. Think over it, what can be done there, and do get in touch with us. We will work on this together and try and ease the difficulty that our fellow citizens in Andhra Pradesh are presently in, and maybe and other places in South India. It's our duty as citizens to try and help them out. So these are just a couple of examples that we need to look at on the tactical angle, but on the strategic angle, we need to see what we can do in the future. Maybe since the time is short, I will stop here. But I think I have my minister's blessings in saying that the Ministry of Civil Aviation will do what it takes to strengthen your hands to serve this great country in the future. But before I take my seat, I must really thank the organizers for giving me this great opportunity to be with you all today, this morning, and to all of you for being such a wonderful audience. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great seminar. Jai Hind. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Srivastava. In fact, everybody sitting in this room, we are all having a very, subtle dream of flying in made in India plane. So I'm sure that, within our lifetime, we'll be able to cherish this dream. Thank you very much. Now I'd like to invite our President of Phdcci Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Sanjeev Agarwal, to kindly give the presidential address and also welcome our chief guest with his deliberations. Over to you, sir.
Very long speeches today, so you all must be bored. I won't take much of your time. I just want to Ram Mohan Naidu ji, Honorable Minister of Civil Aviation, Mr. Piyush Srivastava, Senior Economic Advisor, Ministry of Civil Aviation, Dr. Surinder Ahirwar, Joint Secretary, Logistics and Trade, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Sanjeev Edward, Chair, Mr. Hemant Jain, our Senior Vice President, Mr. Michael Jain, Co-Chair, Dr. Ranjit Mehta of our Phdcci Chamber of Commerce, representatives from the airlines and airports, honorable diplomats and distinguished participants, former presidents and MCM members, friends from the media. A very warm welcome to all. We are extremely honored to extend a warm welcome to our honorable chief guest, Shri K. Ram Mohan Naidu, Honorable Union Minister of Civil Aviation, to the 10th Phdcci Global Aviation and Air Cargo Summit 2024, themed Skies of Change Shaping a New Futuristic Aviation Ecosystem. मैं एक चीज़ आप लोग को बताना चाहूँगा कि मैं सर को मिलने गया था, तो हमारे जो सर हैं इनका मैं जब इनसे मिला तो आई वाज सो इम्प्रेस्ड. इनका जो चेहरे पे तेज था और जो मतलब सिंप्लिसिटी, एंड ही वाज सो फॉर्थ कमिंग वेलकमिंग अस टू दी हिज ऑफिस. इनका नाम है राम मोहन नायडू. इन पे राम का भी आशीर्वाद है, कृष्ण भगवान का भी आशीर्वाद है. ये कभी कोई गलत नहीं कर सकते आपके लिए. तो आई एम रियली इम्प्रेस विथ हिज पर्सनैलिटी. और ये मैं अपने मन से बोलना चाहता हूँ, ये मेरे अभी मन में आया बैठे बैठे कि सर इतने अच्छे हैं आप लोग को मिले हैं मिनिस्टर. यू शुड बी रियली फील सो हैप्पी एंड ब्लेस्ड टू हैव सच अ मिनिस्टर लाइक अस. It was a great pleasure and enthusiasm that I stand before you today to share my recent interaction with one of the most dynamic leaders shaping India's aviation landscape, Mr. Ram Mohan Naidu. मैं कुछ बोल चुका हूँ इसलिए I'm just. Mr. Naidu was very forthcoming, eager to discuss the future of aviation in India and the steps his ministry is taking to ensure it remains one of the most vibrant and fast-growing sectors of our economy. His energy and commitment are truly inspiring, and it is evident why India is proud to have such a young and energetic minister at the helm. During our meeting, Mr. Naidu shared his vision for the future of civil aviation in India. He emphasized the importance of enhancing connectivity, improving infrastructure, and ensuring that air travel remains affordable and accessible to all citizens. His plans to boost regional connectivity through initiatives like Ude Desh Ka Aam Nagarik, will not only promote economic growth, but also bring the joy of flying to millions more Indians. Mr. Naidu represents a new generation of Indian leadership. Since assuming his role as the 33rd Minister of Civil Aviation in June 2024, he has brought fresh perspectives and innovative approaches to the ministry. His leadership is characterized by a clear vision and a strong drive to make India's aviation industry a global leader. As a member of Parliament representing the Sirikulam constituency in the Lok Sabha, Mr. Naidu has consistently demonstrated his ability to connect with the people and understand their aspirations. His impressive electoral record speaks volumes about his popularity and effectiveness as a public servant. Having served his seat in the 16th, 17th, and 18th Lok Sabha elections, he has proven his ability to resonate with the electorate and deliver on his promises. We are confident that under Mr. Naidu's leadership, the civil aviation sector will grow by leaps and bounds. With the collaborative efforts of the Ministry and the Phdcci, we are poised to witness a transformative era in the Indian aviation sector. Together, we will ensure that the skies over India are filled not just with airplanes, but with opportunities for the economic growth, connectivity, and prosperity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Now, indeed, the time has come where we are all eagerly waiting to listen to our dynamic Union Minister. So, with this, I'll invite Shri Ram Mohan Naidu, Honorable Union Minister of Civil Aviation, Government of India, for his august deliberations with this audience.
Good morning to everyone that is present here. I think we are moving into good afternoon phase right now. So good afternoon, everyone. Honorable dignitaries on the dais, Phdcci President Sanjeev ji, Civil Aviation Committee Chair Sanjeev Edward ji, Joint Secretary Ministry of Commerce Sirinder Hariwar ji, and my colleague from the Ministry of Civil Aviation, Senior Economic Advisor Piyush Srivastava ji, other distinguished members of the PhD Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Honorable Excellency and diplomats from other countries, and esteemed guests and industry leaders and media members. I'm very happy to be participating in the 10th edition of PhD Chamber of Commerce and Industry on the summit which is being held on the civil aviation sector. It is the 10th edition. Like our Piyush ji was telling, it is a double-digit number and a very solid number. So that expresses the commitment PhD has been showing for the last 10 summits in the area of civil aviation industry. So I extremely thank them from the ministry also for continuously keeping the progress up and trying to involve the industry and do a progressive movement in the civil aviation. So I extend my heartfelt gratitude to the PhD Chamber of Commerce and Industry for organizing this summit, bringing together the experts and stakeholders from the aviation, air cargo sectors, and other verticals of civil aviation. And as we gather today for this summit, it stands as a testament for Phdcci's unwavering commitment for fostering dialogue, collaboration, and innovation within the industry. And by working together, all of us, we can address the challenge, seize opportunities, and ensure sustainable development of the aviation industry. If you look at the aviation industry today, it might look a little bit repetitive, but one thing I want to tell from that point of view is that all the dignitaries who are sitting here are speaking the same language. That is an assurance and confidence to the people that are here that we are not moving in different directions. If we are trying to speak the same point again and again, it is to bolster the confidence of the industry that we are all committed and ensuring that we are all on the same path and same frequency. So if you compare the Indian aviation sector today, it is at transformative crossroads marked by rapid growth, and forward-looking vision under the leadership of dynamic Prime Minister Honorable Narendra Modi ji. As one of the fastest growing aviation sectors in the world, India has witnessed a remarkable change in passenger traffic, cargo movement, and overall connectivity in the last 10 years. And one testament for that growth has been the increase in the number of airports. In 2014, we had 74 airports, and right now we have a staggering number of 157 airports, which would have been totally unbelievable to think of in 2014 had we just set the number. But we have achieved it. And if you look at the domestic air passenger growth, it has risen up to from 67 million in 2014 to up to 152 million in 2023. And the fleet size, which was around the size of 400 flights for the Indian carriers in 2014, it has more than 700, and we are the highest orders we have in the market today to the tune of 1,200 in the coming 10 years also. So the numbers are staggering. It is a huge growth in considering the statistics that we have today. And combining the growth that we have and the theme of the summit today, which is the skies of change, shaping a new futuristic aviation ecosystem, it is important for all of us to reflect on the transformative work that is being undertaken to boost the civil aviation sector in India. And the skies are indeed changing today. And so is our approach to build a robust and future-ready aviation system. From expanding airport capacities and modernizing air navigation systems to supporting the growth of the air cargo industry and enhancing regional, domestic, and international connectivity, our initiatives are designed to ensure that India's aviation sector not only keeps pace with the global advancements, but leads the way in shaping the future of air travel and logistics. The government has an ambitious vision to transform India into a global air cargo hub and a global aviation hub and MRO hub also in the coming future. I would like to especially mention about these two segments, which is the air cargo and MRO, because there is a lot of potential today. And many of them who are already aware and working in the civil aviation sector would see that whatever growth we are able to see in the last 10 years, the growth is because of the demand that the country is giving to us. But much of the potential is being utilized by other players across the world. Let it be the MRO, let it be the manufacturing, or let it be the air cargo, let it be the air travel, domestic air travel. Much of this is being utilized because we have not enhanced all the capacities. The holistic ecosystem development is still in the progress. So to achieve that, it is very important to look at these verticals in silos also and try to address the concerns which they have in these different sectors. And one of them is the MRO sector, which is very, very important for the kind of growth and for the kind of global leader, the position that we want to achieve in the future. If you talk about air cargo and logistics, India's air cargo sector is experiencing a transformatory boom. The numbers which speak for themselves, the total cargo handled increased steadily from 24.7 lakh metric tons in financial year 2020-21 to anticipated 33.6 lakh metric tons in financial year 23-24. And recognizing the potential of air cargo, we have embarked on development of dedicated air freight corridors, the implementation of digital processes like airway bill, and investments in the state-of-the-art cargo terminals. And our goal has always been to make India a global cargo hub by enhancing connectivity, reducing turnaround time, and improving efficiency. This is where I want the industry to think in the sense, how can we bring in advancements in kinds of technology and try to attach it with the air cargo existing systems so that we can give that kind of experience and the kind of advancement which is required by the customers today. And to further strengthen this sector, we established, from our side, we have established I-Class, which is the Airport Authority of India subsidiary, which is handling cargo logistics and allied services also. And the initiative was not just about developing a separate business, but it was about creating a robust network around civil aviation sector and to support and enhance the efficiency of air cargo, logistics, and allied services across the country. And it has been doing very good. I-Class has finished 8 years, and we have been looking at the numbers. If a company which is being owned by the AI can do such good work in terms of air cargo, I think the sky is the limit for private players who can come in and bring in much more huge potential into this network today. And the USA's, if you look at the USA's air cargo market, it is being driven by time-sensitive shipments, which is also an advantage that our country also has, but which is not looked upon in that manner. With well-established air cargo lanes connectivity to key markets in Asia, Europe, and the South America, whereas in India, with a hub like Delhi, Mumbai, and Bangalore, we can serve them not only as air travel hubs, but also as air cargo hubs also. So how do we enhance the potential that we have and seize on the opportunities that we have and create these other cities as air cargo hubs is something where the industry also can pitch in and offer their view and trying to develop these as their networks. And I felt that one of the important advantages that we have today in terms of air cargo, I don't know how much it is happening in the market today, is Honorable Prime Minister has come out with this strategy of developing one product per district. And it is a very unique product across the country where you are going to find it in that very district itself, where it has an advantage for being made or produced or generated in that district. And if you can connect these kind of products, and some of these products also have geographical indication, GI tag also they have. So if you can connect these kind of products not only with the domestic market across the country, but to international market. Many of these products are time-sensitive products. Many of them are perishable goods. When you have these kind of goods, when you want to connect them to the global industry, the only platform that you will have is the air cargo itself. If you talk about domestic, we are facing a huge challenge right now because of the good work being done by our colleague, Senior Minister Nitin Gadkari ji. He's making transformatory efforts in road connectivity that everyone is trying to take the cargo by road today. They're finding it much more efficient, much more easier than years ahead. But we are facing that challenge right now. We have to create a system where we break the economics of providing efficient, affordable air cargo also, not only domestically, but internationally. So that is where it is not like competing with road travel or competing with air travel or all. The whole concept of Gati Shakti is utilizing the advantages of each sector and trying to bring everything together. The last mile connectivity can be the road sector, and the proper main core connectivity can be the air cargo, and to provide that efficiency and timing, this all sectors should work together, and we have to break the economics that is still pending in terms of air cargo sector. That is where the industry has to come in, come up with innovative solutions. We as the reforming people, we will help you out. We will help you bring in right policies. We will help you out in creating the right infrastructure. But we need more people to come in with innovative ideas, transforming this air cargo sector in the future. And also we have to think about why don't we have freight carrier planes also so many. With the kind of population that we have today, we are still lagging behind on freight carriers. Most of the cargo that we are doing today is by belly cargo only. It obviously has its own challenges. Now we have to move into the idea of having our own freight corridors, freight carriers, at least between the metro cities domestically, so that there is a network already created in terms of air cargo. There is a system that is being handled. So that is where we want all the private people also to come in to have these solutions in terms of technology or in terms of infrastructure. So this is where some more thought can be put in from the PhD also. And there we would like to involve in a discussion together. And air cargo, by working together for the infrastructure and optimizing the processes, we can pave the way for India to become a global leader. And also, India is a strategically located place. So you have to use that also in kind of transshipment. So there are many advantages that the location itself gives us. So how can we integrate that also into the air cargo picture? These are some of the ideas that we can all discuss upon in the summit and arrive at some good conclusions which we can work forward together. And now moving on to the MRO sector. Much has been said by Piyushji also, but I'd like to say some of the important points again. So MRO sector is another critical area that has witnessed significant growth. India has the potential to become an MRO hub, and we are taking decisive steps to move into that direction from the ministry by rationalizing taxes, providing incentives, and developing world-class infrastructure. we are encouraging both domestic and international player to invest in our local MRO industry. And some of the important policy announcements that have happened in that direction is the application of a uniform 5% GST for import parts, components, testing equipment, tools, toolkits of aircraft, irrespective of their HSN classification, which is going to be a revolutionary change in improving the MRO business in the whole country. And we have predicted that just by having this 5% import duty and the other changes that have been announced in the budget, which is the new MRO, the period which has been recently announced in the budget, this is also regarding the MRO sector, which is the period for export of goods imported for repairs has been extended from 6 months to 1 year. So when you bring an airplane, when you bring something to repair, you can keep it for a much longer time. What used to be 6 years has been 6 months has been extended up to 1 year now. And also the time limit for re-import of goods for repairs under warranty has been extended from 3 to 5 years. So when you do some MRO activity here and the plane goes outside, the warranty within 3 years, it used to end before, but now we have extended it for 5 years. So you have the time limit of 5 years to bring back the plane again and to service it again in the local MRO industry. And we have got new MRO guidelines which has abolished royalties and built-in transparent system for land allotments for MROs in Airport Authority of India airports. And also there is 100% foreign direct investment which is permitted via automatic route for the MRO industry. So with all these changes that we have brought in the MRO industry, what is right now sitting at $2 billion USD market, right now we are expecting in the next 6 to 7 years to double itself and grow up to $4 billion industry just by making these small MRO changes. But we realize that there are a lot of challenges also in the MRO industry still existent. What is happening today, the 4 basic maintenance sectors, which is the line, base, component and engine, the most common one, line and base, is what is happening today. India is doing its own line and base up to the tune of 95% or more than, little more than that. But the major component, the major core activity of the engine maintenance and the component maintenance, this is all happening outside the country. So that is where the potential lies, and that is where we should target and try to achieve that the component maintenance and the engine maintenance should be brought back to this country. And for engine and component maintenance, which is roughly about 80% of the MRO sector, the industry needs to have stronger partnerships with the OEMs. But in the long run, as we build an Atmanirbhar Bharat, we need to collaboratively work to have our own OEMs with the ultimate goal of manufacturing planes in this country. And let me assure you to all the people here that we as a country are strongly moving towards building our own plane in the coming few years. As early as possible, we want to achieve this target. And for this, within the ministry, we have pushed some things forward where we want to create a special purpose vehicle, an SPV, where the ministry is going to include itself with the members of the industry and all the industry experts. They are all going to come together, sit together and work in the next 5 years on what are the challenges, where are the bottlenecks for us to create our own plane today, and we are going to address them on a highway manner. Whatever comes in that picture, then we are going to address them as they come, and we are trying to achieve this as soon as possible, that we have to manufacture our own plane here. And there are many advantages that come with manufacturing. The whole point of component and the engine maintenance not happening here is because there is a feeling that you don't have the expertise here. There is a feeling that there is no skill here. Once you show the world that we can manufacture our own plane, we can handle our own plane, we can design our own plane, we can maintain our own plane, then there is going to be a confidence across the globe that if they are manufacturing a plane, they can do the component maintenance, they can do the engine maintenance also. So with that scope of work in mind, we are trying to enhance, we are trying to improvise on whatever the existing industry is offering and move everything collectively towards making our own plane in the future also. And secondly, while we lack in this component and engine MRO, the other challenge that we have seen is that the OEMs are not sharing the technical data with the Indian industry right now. The CMMs, the manuals, they are not fully cooperating in giving them to the existing MRO industry, again with the same challenge. Maybe there is not much skill, maybe the infrastructure is not enough, maybe the certifications is not enough. Because everything that is there today, MROs and all, when you move into further important maintenance, you need classification from EASA. The Europeans are saying that this has to be classified so that I can get a plane here and do it. So I have instructed my officials that this shouldn't be the case. The Europeans should say that we should get a classification from DGCA so that we can service our planes here. That should be the movement that we have to make. We have to be the global leaders. All the technological innovation, all the brains that go into this, all the brains that are sitting in engineering and all, anywhere in the world, you are seeing that Indians are doing it. But we are not able to tap on the advantage that is being created. So we want to push with that attitude, with that mindset, that the Indian regulations or the Indian manufacturers or the Indian MROs, they should lead the way for the whole world. And that is the mindset that we have right now today. And with this wider objective, the government is actively introducing many reforms also. We are trying to see what all reforms can come in the future so that the MRO sector gets a real boost. And for me, considering I am from the political background also, one important problem that this whole thing, let it be air cargo, let it be the MRO sector, this important problem that is going to solve for me as a politician when I'm meeting people is the job situation in the country. Now, if you go and sit with the people, then the most important, the request that we get is regarding the jobs. And unless we try to do something as a sector collectively to address that situation, it is going to be a very difficult task for us in the future also. We have the potential, we have the human resources, but we need to skill them in the right way. And today, because we are not offering the training institutions of skilling also, there are a lot of people who are going abroad, learning the skill and coming back and working here. Why can't we do the training here only? So this is another area where we have to see that different verticals within the aviation industry, what are the different skilling that is required? What are the skills that are being done in another country and then people are coming back? So those gaps that are being arised in the skilling, that has to be met with domestically only. We have to create those institutions where the skilling can also happen here, and not only for our domestic market. We can cater for the global market also. People can come here, have their skilling done, and probably go into some other aviation markets across the world and work there also. So that is another one that we have to address. And in terms of how do we achieve this whole building of our own airplane, another reform that we have brought in is the Bharatiya Vaayuyan Vidheyak, which we recently passed in the Lok Sabha. Now this Aircraft Act, which has been changed to the Bharatiya Vaayuyan Vidheyak, this talks about India as a country of state of design. Now to manufacture our own plane, to other people to take us seriously that we are doing something in this design area, it is important for us to give a legal backing to the word design. And that is what we have brought in through this new bill also. And it has been passed in Lok Sabha, and when we get the opportunity soon, we are going to pass it in Rajya Sabha, and we are improving our whole capability on not just saying that India is not, when it talks about aviation, it is not about flying people from one point to another point. It means serious business. It means about manufacturing planes. It means serious business in maintaining planes, the whole MRO sector, everything, air cargo, everything that comes into this. We are wanting to achieve the global status and the global leaders. That is where we want to be. And that is the idea with which the Bharatiya Vaayuyan Vidheyak has also been brought into the parliament. And after the announcement of National Aviation Policy in 2016, the number of MROs have increased to 147 from what used to be 114 before. And we see a more positive increase in the coming years also. But we have to move, like I said, in the right direction of doing that component and engine maintenance, how to address that situation. That is where we need to concentrate more on. And with consistently increasing, so whenever the industry has to do something, there has to be a confidence that it is going to survive or this market is going to support. Now we see that there are 1,200 planes that are going to come. What bigger market than this? We have the highest number of orders. So anyone who is thinking, if I want to do an MRO, is the business going to help us out? Is the market there, demand there? Obviously it is there. There are 1,200 more planes. So whoever is actively trying to pursue in this area should think confidently and should make very bold steps, consider the advantage that the market has today, and be that first mover into catering for those solutions today. So other than that, the strong talent pool and again the location that we have, India is well positioned to offer cost-effective and high-quality MRO services not only to our domestic fleet but also to international airlines. This will not only save valuable foreign exchange but also generate employment and skilling development opportunities within the country. And other reforms, so these are the two main sectors which I would say that in this summit you guys can discuss on, the industry can all discuss on, and try to give us a picture on what are the requirements or the challenges that you are facing in terms of reforms. We can try to address from that side. So that is why I won't really accept that when they say that the leader of civil aviation is here, I would say the partner of civil aviation is here for the industry. We want to partner with you guys. We want to take you guys into consideration and listen to you. The whole opinion that we want to give from the ministry is that we have our ears open. We are listening to you. We understand that you are the important people here. If civil aviation has to progress, the industry has to progress. So we are here to take in your inputs and make the right decisions in terms of policy in the coming days ahead. So I would request that once your summit has finished, you share the document with us, and then we can have a thorough discussion on it, on how the ministry can also actively involve themselves in try to address these challenges that are faced. Other than that, I'll just briefly summarize on some of the important things otherwise happening in civil aviation also, like it was mentioned before, the seaplanes, the guidelines. There was an attempt before also by Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji to kick off the seaplanes activity in the country in a big way. But for some challenges that the industry still faced, it didn't happen the way it was envisioned before. So we have brought in a slight change in the guidelines. We again went back to the industry, we spoke to them, we heard their challenges, we made the necessary changes, we formulated new guidelines, and we have launched it a couple of weeks back. And now with these new guidelines, we are expecting a huge boost to the seaplane activity. Consider a small country like Maldives, and catering for only one sector, which is tourism sector. They are handling up to 108 planes, and they are one of the most successful seaplane network in the whole world. And with such a wide country, with so much opportunity and so much water bodies, with the coastline that is there, consider the amount of potential that we have as a seaplane strategy. So for that, the guidelines, we feel that it is going to help. We can also look into that sector on how to improve the seaplane aviation sector also. When you talk about planes, you talk about the whole economics that a plane brings into the country. It is the MRO, it is the cargo, it is the air travel, it is the airports, it's the connectivity. So many other things. When you talk about airport, you're talking about a mini city today. That is why all the states are after airports now. They're not just relying on just providing that connectivity. When they know there is an airport, they see the real estate change that happens. They see the whole other, the job creation that happens, the economic activity that happens. So that is the potential of civil aviation today. When you talk about one plane, you talk about changing a whole city together. So with that thought process, we have brought in some changes to the seaplane guidelines, so which is going to help us giving a boost to the seaplane strategy also. And also RCS Udan, which is a very revolutionary scheme for connecting our hinterland airports, for connecting those unserved or underserved airports. For the last 10 years, we have this scheme running up till 2027, but we have observed with the huge success that the RCS Udan scheme has achieved, we want to extend it for another 10 years and see what all gaps have been there in the last 10 years, try to address it, revamp it, and make it RCS 2.0 Udan for the next coming 10 years also. So that is one confidence we are giving from the ministry, that we are going to work on extending the Udan scheme also for the next coming 10 years, which is going to give a boost in improving the airport infrastructure. Right now we have 157, and in the plan of Viksit Bharat for 2047, we are planning to improve these 157 airports to up to 400 airports, including the waterdrome airports, including heliports and everything. We feel that India still has an opportunity to double the airports that are there today. And we are going to work on it. So there is a lot of demand and there is a lot of potential as a country for civil aviation in terms of infrastructure. So RCS is going to come into play. And out of these, the most interesting and exciting thing I've kept it for the last, which I want to share with you, is the drone technology. I feel for the last 20 years, drone technology has always been there, but the usage, the potential that drone technology has, it's still not explored to its fullest yet. And one example I can give: yesterday, I'm not I shouldn't be taking the credit for what's happening in Andhra today. The credit goes to Honorable Chief Minister there, Nara Chandrababu Naidu Garu, who has always been a visionary and encouraging new technologies to come into play in terms of governance. So he was the one who picked up the idea of drones. And when we had huge floods, unimaginable floods in the city of Vijayawada, so he has seen that the drones has the capability of reaching to those houses which are otherwise blocked by the water. So he came up with the idea, because the drones come under Ministry of Civil Aviation. We had the opportunity to partner with them. We have brought in different companies to come together and bring all those drones. And now we have to the tune of 60, 70 drones which are working in that city, trying to distribute food, milk, water, medical necessities and other things. They're doing surveillance on how much water is there in what area. And tomorrow, once the water recedes, we are going to move into using those drones for sanitation also. So much potential is there in just one test case. So how many other test cases do we have? How many other potentials do we have for drones? I think that is one sector which is a very promising sector, drones. We currently have banned the import of drones, so we are doing only local production. We have PLI scheme for drone production. So from the ministry, we are trying to encourage more and more of these drone-related activities, but industry has to come forward and provide these innovative solutions and do a large-scale innovation in this and try to attach themselves with these test cases. So that is one potential. And within the drones, we are talking about the smaller drones which can do these kind of activities, but the bigger drones, which are the vertical takeoff and landing vehicles, which are going to come into place in the next couple of years. I think that is also another exciting area that we should all look into as a civil aviation industry, is how these people, the eVTOLs, electric vertical takeoff or landing vehicles, how when they come in, how it is going to change the whole landscape of civil aviation. I think that is another area that I'll leave room for discussion for future, but I'm just leaving you the thought that we should still think about drones and eVTOLs also. And other than that, in this summit, I would request that thoroughly you should discuss more on how to improve the air cargo sector and also the MRO sector. We have been doing some changes from our side, and Honorable Prime Minister has a grand vision for 2047. But in the Council of Ministers meeting he had recently, he has told that even if we have the grand vision, we have to have smaller targets also, smaller targets where we are having a target for 5 years, for 10 years. So my suggestion to the PhD today would be, for the next 10 years, to be one of the global leaders in air cargo and MRO industry. What are the industry suggestions for the next 10 years? What is the way forward? How should we all collectively move forward is something which you can all discuss and present to us as the ministry, so that we can work towards achieving the goal of Viksit Bharat 2047. And with this, I personally thank all the PhD. I think it's one of the biggest bodies in the countries today, where they are trying to gel the policy making and also the industry together and try to do good things for the country ahead. And we are very fortunate that in the civil aviation sector also, PhD has been working thoroughly and doing this for the last 10 summits. And I was thinking that I just got charged as minister, and probably within a month or two, they came and met me. And they have invited me for this. I was like, what will I have to say? I'm still learning things in civil aviation ministry. But then I thought that it's not me telling what we are doing. It's more like what you guys are doing, I should know here. So with that concept, I've come here and I've had a good learning here, listening to other dignitaries. And I feel that after the summit also, once you place in all your discussions and once the deliberations are done, there is going to be a lot of input for us. And I can assure you that from our side, we are committed on collectively moving forward. We are not an individual, we are a team. So we want to work with you. We want to collectively take this country forward and make it a global aviation sector in the future. And for that, we request all the support from all of you. And once again, thank you for inviting me and for making me the chief guest of this 10th edition of Civil Aviation Summit. And thank you once again to each and every one of you. Thank you.
So what a speech, what a enthusiastic and dynamic speech from a dynamic leader. Big round of applause for Shri Naidu ji. Thank you very much. Sir, you have supercharged everybody. Everybody here is excitedly and they're all motivated. And just to reinforce the motivation, just to charge them further, there are certain, felicitations. I'll request Honorable Minister to kindly felicitate the civil aviation stalwarts. Just it will take a minute or two, sir, to do this proceeding. Sir, if you can come forward, sir. Just felicitation for some
Thank you so much, sir. And we've reached the 10th edition based on everybody's support from the industry. And just as a thank you, and we would be privileged to facilitate a few stalwarts from the industry. May I request Dr. Vandana Agarwal to please join us on stage. We'd like to felicitate ma'am for the sustainable contribution in the growth of the aviation and air cargo ecosystem. Ma'am has worked during the COVID period, and she has been a big support of the industry in bringing it where it is. A big round of applause for her. We'd also like to thank Mr. Piyush Srivastava for being a forward-thinking leader of the air cargo in the MRO industry, and for thanking you for being a part of the Phdcci chamber. Thank you so much. A big thank you to Dr. Surinder Arwar for his pioneering contribution to the logistics industry and for always showing the way and being a part of the deliberations for the chamber. Thank you so much, sir. May I request Mr. Cyrus Katkara, Managing Director, Gina and Company, for being an ambassador of the Go Green initiative and also for the paperless transactions. Thank you so much for your support, sir. Thank you. Your exemplary leadership and strategic pioneering commitment for the Go Green initiative, sir. Thank you very, very much. May I request Mr. Keiko Bomi Gazdar, former CEO A-Class and Managing Director and CEO Avia Pro Logistics Services Private Limited, for being a progressive visionary of the air cargo industry and for always supporting the Chamber's initiatives. Sir has started A-Class and he's taken it to the levels it is. Thank you so much, sir. We'd also like to thank Sanjeev Edwards, sir, CEO Cargo and Logistics GMR Group, for their outstanding contribution to air cargo and logistics ecosystem growth, sir. Thank you. A big thank you to Michael Jain, Director and CEO Bel Air Aero, as an aviation leader with a global vision and for supporting the chamber. Mr. Pavan Jain, if would like to join us. They have decades of requesting Sunit Gupta and Hari sir from Kale Logistics to please join us on the stage. A big thank you to Kale Logistics Solutions for their outstanding contribution in digitalization of the Indian and global air cargo logistics. They have been working with a lot of US airports as well, and taking their new innovators with Amar sir abroad. Requesting Ambalik Agarwal sir to please join us on the dais. A big thank you to AMP Aero Services for their outstanding contribution in aircraft asset management services worldwide. Thank you very, very much, sir. Requesting Anil Goyal, Chairman Aeroprime, and Mr. Abhishek Goyal, Executive Director Aeroprime Group, to please join us on the dais. A big thank you to the Aeroprime Group for their contribution in air management and GSA services and for supporting the chamber. Thank you very much, Mr. Anil Goyal and Mr. Abhishek Goyal. Requesting Mr. Fletcher, Samuel, Manish sir and Praveen sir from Bangalore Airport to please join us on the dais. A big thank you to Bangalore Airport, Bangalore Cargo comprising of WFS, Bangalore Cargo and Menzies Aviation for their outstanding contribution in overall aviation and air cargo ecosystems sustainable growth. I think Bangalore Airport is being the talk of the town. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Requesting Murli Ramachandran sir and Rahul from Celebi to please join us on the dais. A big thank you to Celebi Delhi Cargo Terminal Management India for their outstanding contribution as a cargo handling operator and making sure everything works smoothly on the ground, sir. A big thank you to Murli Ramachandran sir and Rahul ji. Can we have the applause coming for all these people? The whole industry is a stalwart with just a big thank you for their support to all of us. And last but not the least, may I request Mr. Vipin Bora, Continental Carriers Private Limited, for joining us on the dais with Viraj, for being an outstanding logistics service provider and for supporting the Chamber's growth. We've come to the 10th edition based on his support. Thank you so very, very much. Can I request everyone who we've felicitated if you can join for a group photograph on the dais? Ambalik sir, Anil sir, Vanna ma'am, Ketu sir, Cyrus sir. Just for a quick group photograph on the dais. And a big applause to the Minister. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Just requesting everyone we felicitated to please. Murli sir, if you could just come for a group photograph. आगे आ जाओ आगे बाकी आ गया
Minister sir, we'll just take 1 minute. I'll request Mr. Hemant Jain, our Senior Vice President, to kindly propose the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As we conclude this insightful and inspiring inaugural session of the 10th edition of the PhD CCI Global Aviation and Air Cargo Summit. It is my privilege to provide the vote of thanks. Firstly, I would like to thank our Honorable Chief Guest, Shri Ram Mohan Naidu Garu, Honorable Union Minister of Civil Aviation, Ministry of Government of India. I think we had the luxury and opportunity of among the few chambers who had come and visited him first, and I have not met a better human being. I really hope that we get more ministers like you, who are as compassionate about the people. Even when you saw we were doing lamping the light, you said a lady should be there. So I think it's something which I think other ministers should follow, and really are very proud to be a part of this event, sir. So I think what he has told about the civil aviation as such, civil aviation is not only an industry. I think it's also it acts as a catalyst for industrial hub. Today, if you have an airport in a remote area of India, that catapults that area into a development mode. So this is what I was talking to the Honorable Minister, that if you have right now from 70 airports, if you double the airports now, this has given that area a different kind of output, because it actually makes it as a development hub for that whole area, sir. So thank you for providing us 150 more development hubs in the country, sir. Thank you, sir. So your presence here today truly elevates this summit, and your inspiring words have provided a clear, compelling vision for the future of India aviation sector. We are incredibly grateful for your support and commitment for driving forward the growth and innovation within the vital industries. We haven't seen a minister. We met him a month after he took over as minister. So he had said that we were discussing about MRO. I thought he would not know about MRO, but he said MRO is happening, GST is coming down. We discussed about other things like helicopter services and other things Michael was telling him. And I've never seen a minister who's so much on top of things. I think the youth and compassion which we see in him, and the vision which we see in him, I hope other ministers also follow, and we will truly have a Viksit Bharat 2047. I would also like to thank Shri Piyush Srivastava, Senior Economic Advisor, Ministry of Civil Aviation, Government of India, for sharing his perspective in a brief but a very impactful speech. Thank you for giving us the insight to the aviation industry, and we will come back to you, sir, with the outlook from the conference today, that what we look forward from the government today, sir. Our sincere thanks also to Dr. Surinder Ahirawar, Joint Secretary, Logistics and Trade, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India, for providing a comprehensive overview of trade, logistics, landscape, and pivotal role of air cargo. A special thank to Sanjeev Agarwalji for mentioning the Krishna and Rama combined blessings on the minister. I think this was the highlight for the today's meeting, sir. I'm also very grateful to Mr. Sanjeev Edward, Chair of PhD CCI Civil Aviation Committee. Thank you for making it a full house. We really see a full house here, and I think it's yours and Mr. Michael Jain, the co-chair for the committee, who has provided us I think the industry experts here and made us a full house here. And lastly, our very own CEO, Mr. Ranjit Mehta, thank you for under the leader giving us this wonderful event. I know we are short of time, but I would also like to thank His Excellency, the Ambassador of Bhutan, for coming and gracing the occasion. Thank you, sir. It is. I personally. Oh, sorry, my apologies, sir. His Excellency, the Ambassador of Fiji, is also here. So thank you for coming. I think Fiji is like a part of India. I think His Excellency, Ambassador from Magnolia, thank you for coming here. I think we really appreciate it. It really talks a lot, because His Excellencies, all three of them, coming here and sparing the valuable time. Okay, so sorry, my list is not complete. The Ambassador from Suriname, I heard that Hindi is spoken there as a local language. So thank you for coming and being a part of it. I think I would also like to extend a heartfelt thanks to the experts of the air cargo and logistics industry, representatives from various airlines and airports, whose participation underscores the collaborative spirits needed to drive the aviation sector forward. A big thanks to you to honorable diplomats, distinguished participants for joining us and contributing to the global perspective of the summit. Thank you once again, Honorable Minister, for coming here and giving us this full house here. And I'm sure we'll come back to you with a lot of suggestions, sir. Thank you, sir.